So I wanted to revisit this trailer for I Want to Dance with Somebody. Now, this is actually trailer 2. Of course, I'm not going to play the whole trailer on here. It's just some things I wanted to point out. Now, about over a month ago, probably almost 2 months now, I did a video talking about why FBA are not going to support this movie, or why at least I'm not going to support it, because of the casting choice they chose for Whitney Houston. That was then, but that was the first trailer. But then they dropped another trailer like a couple weeks ago. And I don't know why I waited to do a video on this, but it is what it is. So they dropped a new trailer and it showed a little bit more. And in my original commentary, I said, I think I know where they're headed with this. And sure enough, I think that's exactly where they are headed with it. Now, my first stance was, I think they were heading with it was they were going to talk about the angle of Whitney Houston and Robin Crawford's relationship. Of course, there was some rumors circling around back in the day, if you're old enough to remember, that Whitney Houston and Robin Crawford had some kind of behind the scenes relationship, alluding to that Whitney Houston most likely could be at least bisexual. Of course, you know, because she married Bobby Brown, was married to him for years, had Bobby Christina with him. And as far as we know, that's the only man she ever married. But this woman has dated other men, because remember, she was linked to Eddie Murphy at one time before she got with Bobby Brown. It's just that Bobby Brown was the man that she married. And of course, you know, when she died, it was, you know, stated that her and Ray J had a thing. After all, he did attend her funeral. And if you looked at the funeral, that man was crying his eyes out. So him and Whitney did have some kind of a relationship going on there as well. But there was always this illusion that Whitney also was involved with Robin Crawford. And that's when I saw this clip right here. Now, this is the actress that's playing Whitney Houston, and standing across from her is the actress playing Robin Crawford. Now, if you look at how this is staged or centered or put together, they look like they're almost embracing each other. It's like Whitney is smiling at her. I'm sure Robin is smiling back at her, and they're really close, almost like they're holding each other by the waist. Now, of course, there was always just the thing of, oh, Robin was just a friend of the family and all types of stuff like that. There was even statements that went out when Cissy Houston was interviewed a few years ago, right after Whitney died, when they had brought up the rumors about Whitney most likely being, you know, a part of the Academy, and would Cissy accept it? And Cissy Houston flat out said, no, she wouldn't have. Cissy, you got to think, Cissy Houston, she was a woman that didn't bite her tongue. If you can go and look that interview up, she flat out said she would not have accepted a relationship like that between her and Robin. And speaking of Robin, it was even stated that Robin and Bobby Brown even got into physical altercations. Like, when I say physical altercations, I'm not talking about little love taps. I'm talking about literal fights where punches were involved. Like, they said they would get into fights with each other. So that's the first thing that I noticed when I saw this new trailer. I said, oh, they about to lean into that. And then they released a clip online recently where they're showing a clip of Whitney Houston doing the national anthem. And then again, Robin was right there on the side. Now, what I found to be interesting was when I saw that clip, Robin was there at the game with Whitney when she sang the national anthem, but Bobby was at their home. Like, it showed that he wasn't there. So it's crazy because I forget when Bobby and Whitney got married, but I think they were married around that time, or they just got married around that time. I found it interesting that her husband wasn't there, but her friend was. So that's something else that I noticed too. Now, the other part that I noticed in the new trailer, now this is the actor, he's playing John Houston, who was Whitney Houston's father. Now, what I'm also noticing that they're going to be leaning into based on the trailer alone is the strained relationship between her father and Whitney. Because I was reading some articles back in the early 2000s, apparently John Houston had sued Whitney Houston or some kind of organization tied to Whitney for some undisclosed amount of money, and now they're gonna lean into this storyline in the movie where it's almost like it's a constant battle between father and daughter. And what I'm noticing is that when I look through the trailer is that like, look at how they have her. Like, they have her like constantly almost like being vicious towards her dad. Every clip that I saw in this trailer, with the exception of, let me see if I can find it, this one right here, when he's walking her down the aisle, of course, you know, when she's about to get married, shows her in like a constant battle or some kind of angry, vengeful take towards her dad, almost alluding that she has daddy issues. And that's not the only one right there. There's another one. Let me see if I can find it. Here's another one right here. Let me zoom. Another one right here. Like, they have Whitney appearing to be the angry black woman. And I don't like that. I do not like that at all. And again, this is another scene where Whitney is going at her dad about something. Now, I'm not going to say whether this happened in real life or not, but you know, when it comes to a lot of these biopics, they can over dramatize something or throw something in there for dramatic effect. So I couldn't tell you if what was going on was real or not. Only the family knows this. Only Whitney would know this, but Whitney, of course, is no longer here. I just do not like the direction that this movie is going. It was one thing that they got a British actress to play Whitney Houston. That was one thing that we had an issue with. But now, as I'm seeing this trailer, the three things that I just showed you really just stuck out to me as like, nah, this is definitely a no for me. Like, if I was to go see this movie, I would literally be in the movie theater, probably picking it apart or being prepared to pick it apart. And it's a shame because this is Whitney Houston. This is an icon. The Voice, that was her nickname. That was her that was her title. One of the best, if not the best voices of all time. One of the most recognizable voices too. So for me, after seeing that and after just going through this, I will pass again. I will pass. Now, I can't tell anybody to go see it or spend their money, whether they want to go see it or not. But I just wanted y'all to notice this, just in case y'all did not see the second trailer. This second trailer got dropped 3 weeks ago from the date of me recording this. I'm recording this December 3rd, 2022. So this trailer dropped like the second week of November. But that's just my take on it, of stuff that I noticed in the trailer. Thank God they decided to use her actual music, so they did get the rights to do that. That's probably one of the only truly authentic parts of the movie that will be there, is her music. But I'll be waiting to see the reviews, because I'm gonna look at the reviews. Like, when people go see this and whoever reviews movies and whatnot, I'm gonna see what they have to say and see if there's anything else in that movie, because I'm not seeing it. I could care less. They can spoil it for me all they want. Now, I noticed they also didn't show, of course, the drug usage, but they don't have to show that, because we knew that about Whitney. But I wonder how heavy they gonna go into that. Is she gonna be, doing a line every other scene to let us be aware that Whitney was on drugs? Now, what would be interesting is if they put into the movie about who got her on drugs, because for the longest time, the mainstream media always said that it was Bobby Brown that got her on drugs. No, it was her brother. Her older brother, I forgot her brother's name, but her older brother was the one that introduced Whitney to hardcore narcotics like cocaine. When Bobby met Whitney, or when Whitney met Bobby, when they met each other, Bobby said the only thing he would really do is just drink. But he said Whitney was the one that brought those hard drugs around him. But, they had to pretty her up to make her, be like a princess. But yeah, if they put that in the movie, I will be pleasantly shocked if they put the person, if they talk about who really got her started on drugs. But I would not be surprised if they didn't put it in there. In case y'all are unaware about who got her started on drugs, it was her older brother. And if that's the case, you heard it here first. But yeah, this trailer again did not let me know, or let me know even further to not go and watch this movie. Again, I will go and watch the reviews for it to see what people thought about it and see if they talk about some of the same things that I'm talking about in this video right now. But as for me, it's a hard no for me. And one thing you also have to understand too is Whitney has been dead for over 10 years now. It's crazy to believe the time is going by so fast. She died February 2012. So now they are in the space of exploitation, in my honest opinion. They're going to try to milk it for everything they possibly can. Trust and believe me when I tell you, this is probably not going to be the last type of Whitney Houston type of biopic or anything related to Whitney that we're going to see. I remember at one point they were trying to do a hologram of Whitney Houston. I think I talked about that in the last video. So they going to try to milk this for as much as they possibly can. But like I said, I can't wait to see what the reviews are going to be about or say when this movie comes out.